Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Asian report for the 13th of May, starting with the ASX200 here. Our count to the upside is pretty much on track from the low here. We're counting 5 waves up as 1 and 2, and up for 3 here and 4, and then up for 5 here. Between 2 and 3, we're looking for 5 waves of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. And between 4 and 5, we're looking for 5 waves as well as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. And between 4 and 5, we're also looking for 5 waves as well. So we've had a little bit of a hiccup here with this wave 4 overlapping wave 1 here, but I still think that breaks one of the 3 Elliott rules. It's a shame there's not more rules, but we've seen this before where there's overlaps, especially in derivative markets where there's leverage. So I think that we'll stay where we are with this particular count. Of course, if this low gets taken out here, then obviously I've got it wrong at that point and we'll need to be short. But what we've been looking for is support on top of 6,300. So now we're talking about the trading levels. So from 6,000, we're looking at 1, 2, and 3 here as all part of group 1, and we've been looking for support on group 1. So we've been looking for, there's only really 2 or 3 patterns that can do this, and this is a bit of a classic trading levels pattern where we have the arrival, the reaction, and we're looking for the first high above the level and then retesting that level to test for support, that demand, and then from that point, then once we've got support there, then we can trade long from that point there. It's not always that the trade turns out, but most of the time if we get that tested support, then the trade will work out. And in fact, most trading systems that are successful pretty much sort of fit into this profile in one way or another. Let's work into the intraday moves now. So reference point over here is blue wave 4, so 1 and 2. We counted 5 waves up here. This got out of control a little bit. It was news orientated from the US, but we've still got the A wave, the B wave, and then 1 and 2 and 3. A very high 4th wave here that also confused me a little bit, and then down for wave 5 here. So we've got that nice ABC pattern through here, and now we're looking for a move to the upside. So it is, when we look at this now here, we can see that, even in this case here, the market moved up, but then came back and tested it, and the retest failed and it dropped down. So that would have become our reference point for a high here. Once again here, this came up and the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, then a corrective move down, and then taking the tops out here. So that really triggers the trade there at that particular point. So we should be moving up here to take this high out here. Because we dropped down through here, we may not get right to the 6.5 now. It may be too much for it, but we'll see, and we'll count the structures to the upside. The 6,500 is a medium level. It has a lot of significance. I just call it a 65 number. It's halfway between 5,000 and 8,000, of course. So let's go into the hourly chart here. So for the hourly chart here, as you know, last time we spoke, we were counting down, and I think this is already in play here as well. But I was quite concerned about this. It doesn't really count very nicely as an impulse wave here, but what I did notice, I remember speaking now, the last time we spoke, we had this move down through here, which is corrective. So we were looking for this high to be taken out here, and that's been the case, and it's been a bit wobbly, but you can see in one way or another that it's basically sat on the 6.3, and now it's pushed higher through here. It was a bit, I think I put that in there before. I can't recall now. I might have done that in the meantime, but still that high here would have been the trigger, and all I've done today is put this stop under this low here. If this low is breached, well, then we've got a bear market at this point. I can't count this as an impulse wave to the upside. It looks more corrective, but I've seen this before where it looks, it looks ugly, as an impulse wave, but still it manages to struggle higher in one way or another. So we need to run with that. The other point here too, from that high here down to this low here, this is the 50-60% retracement level there. It doesn't look like it, does it? So I'm just going to go back in and check that. Yeah, it is. Just visually, it just didn't seem right, but it is. Yeah, right. So so we can expect the market to consolidate here and perhaps retest this particular trend that it's moved up here on. So just in a bit of a nutshell here, if we look at this here and we put that there, it might even open up a little bit higher, but this is the 61.8%, so it's sitting right on the 6.3 here. So I think that's kind of important here at this stage. So that's the 50-60% retracement level. So we wouldn't really want to see it down past that level there either at this point. And also too, just refining this, what we're also looking for now too is the 6.3 is the top of minor group 1, that's a minor level, and the next level's down a sub-level, so 1, 2 and 3, 10, 20 and 30. So the 6,330 here, that also becomes group 1 as well. And we know that if we get support on this level here, then it separates the order flow from the 6,300, and then it will be leaving that at that stage and leaving this number and moving higher from that point. And that's the cutoff point. That's what we've seen over here. We just had a move above it, but when it retested, it never ended up sitting on there. So we would have never had, if that sat on there, we would have had a long trade from that point if it found support. But it's not support. Just because it trades above, it doesn't mean it's support. And the same case here as well. So I haven't counted this little move up through here, and it may even push higher here, but what we're basically looking for is an ABC correction here a little bit, and it probably won't pull that far back, but it could do. But we're looking for some sort of correction and then a move higher from that point. So that's what we'll be looking for today. And also too, we talked about CBA last time, and then we also went long on that as well because we counted 5 waves up through here, and it appeared that this move down through here, which I liked, was corrective. It was rather small for wave 2, but it was still corrective. And if we find support on the 75 here, then we can go long. But also too, we're also looking for 5 waves up through to here, and then we've got a correction back. So now we should push up on this one as well. So we should be able to put another trade long in the banking sector. So we'll probably go with ANZ or Westpac. I'll have a bit of a look, but yeah, that should push high there as well. So in terms of putting a stop here, wherever let's just call this the high here. It's always nice to keep the stop under the 61.8%. So we look at that there, and then we also look at the numbers that are just refining this a little bit here as well, just to give you an idea. So we've got that area there. So if we just open this up a little bit, so that's the midpoint here at 50. The next point here is 80 here as the levels, and then we would have a little 72 in here somewhere, and then we would have the 65 in there, which is it's just down there a little bit. So that all of that's group 2 there. So it would be good to leave the stop under group 2 here, so we could go like 62 there, and that's how we can look at that. Right, okay, that's that for Australia. And if we look at India, okay, so India's got a different thing going on. I'll just stay with the hourly chart here for a moment. We've got a short trade here. We've taken part profit here. We've also shorted here. We've brought the stop down. So I can count 5 waves down to this point here now. So I think it's important that we bring this down here now as well. So I'll just put that above there. So that's at 34. That will be okay. And let's just see if it drops, well then that's fine. But if it takes that high out here, you could probably reverse the trade, but I wouldn't be looking to go long here unless I've got support on 11,500. You could go long on top of group 1 here. But for the longer term trend, if you're a longer term trend trader, then we really want that 11,500 there, the medium level at that stage. So yeah, let's just see how we go. I mean, that's to me is the A, the B, and the C here. So we could go long here, but I'll leave that up to you. But if you're going long here, let's just grab that there. Let's just put in half a trade there. Half a trade here, taking part profit here, because if it's going to fail, that's where it's going to fail from, and then leave half of the position of that half a position in there, 25%, and then we can build on top of 11.5 if it's going to be the case. But before you can go long, you definitely need to have support there. So you need tested support. So we've just talked about that with the Australian market, so we'll leave that at that. And have a look at Hong Kong quickly. So the move in Hong Kong here, as I mentioned last time, we could count this up here as an A and a B and a C here for the well, an A and a B and a C to here for the A wave, and a B wave here and a C wave here. We've got a top here, but we also could count this here as an A wave, wave 1 here, and then an A and a B and a C wave over here for wave 2, and having all of this as wave 3 here, and then wave 4 pulling back to the wave 4s of 1 lesser degree in this space here. And we have here, well, this rose a little bit high here, but we could look at this as an A wave and a B wave and a C wave as a low here. One of the points here, I'm not getting a really nice impulse wave here. This is more of a corrective wave in here, so I'm a bit not quite sure about that. So I want to see a bit more price data. If I have a look at China, which is in the same boat as well, the move down through here, an A and a B and a C wave through here. I don't know if we're going to pull up. I don't know if this is going to turn into 5 waves down here. So if that's the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree just here. So that means that the market could move up to this point here and have another leg down here. If it does that, then we'll have 5 waves down, and then we would have an ABC pattern back up here, and then we'd have another 5 down through here, and we'd need to look bearish through this side over here. So I don't quite know yet, but if I had a nice impulse wave here, then that would be okay, but I don't have that just yet. So what we could do, and even so too, this correction just could get simply bigger as well. There's a lot that could go on here. We could also have it like this here as well, the A wave here, the B wave up into the 61.8% up here. So an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave. That, because that was in 3 waves, that makes this a flat correction. So it would be more flat traveling across here. But what we'll do, I think, is we'll use support and resistance. So if this market can prove to us that the 13,000 here can become the support, then we can move in on a small position here and use that support to keep the stop under that support. But we're not there yet. The market needs to prove to us that it can sit on that level there, and it's just not there yet. So we'll watch that and Hong Kong together on that. Where's Hong Kong again? So yeah, it's definitely, this is not 5 waves up through here. So I just need to monitor it a little bit further on this one. So I don't have any answers for this just yet. So we'll just chill. But when something becomes available, then we'll put a trade onto that. Alrighty. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.